Joe and Kyle are cousins? What? Well, half cousins, kind of. We've also got The Devil Wears Prada entering Genoa City this week, and stay tuned for 2 special guests.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AFTERBUZZ TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, I'm Rachel Goodman with another week of Restless Wrap. To begin, we've got a special guest, Hubby Joe.
Hi everyone.
He is back, and he is ready. And we've got the...
Not so special edition, but I'm here too, guys. Fair nods, but share it.
And a special shout out to Kenneth, who said that he wanted to be on the show, so I am giving him the honorary title as guest number 2.
Kenneth Clark.
Thank you, Kenneth. We are honoring you today because you're always here, and so you are one of our co-hosts, definitely. We've got a bunch of people in the chat, so I'm just going to give everybody a shout out. We've got Mary, Susan Russo, Candace Max here. We've got Kenneth Clark, of course, and Hubby Joe, who is sitting right here. Let me just make sure I said everybody. We've got Aaron Brody, and I think that I said everybody's name, but as more people kind of come in, I will give an announcement that they're here. Make sure you stay tuned until the very end of the show. We have got a new segment called Caption That, and we've got a lot of comments about our picture that we picked. We've also got a law moment and a special video to go along with that, and we have a little bit of news that's pretty interesting. Has to do with Jack. Yeah. And then our predictions at the very end. You do not want to miss those. They are usually pretty interesting and funny and amusing. Let's talk about Halloween. Because as we were getting started here, that was pretty much all we could talk about. And by Halloween, I don't actually mean the Halloween that we celebrated.
So you want to discuss the Halloween episode?
Yes, let's talk about that Halloween.
Snooze fest.
Farrah?
It was bad.
It was so weird.
There's no reason for it, you know?
It was, and like I went through, and here's the thing, I don't know how you guys felt, but when I was writing down the dreams and what each person was going to actually experience, it was easy to call what they were going to go through and who was going to be in their dreams. And I get the symbolism.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah, like you said, I get that they wanted to depict each character's underlying fears, right? Like their greatest fears come to life in their dreams. But like you said, I mean, we all kind of already knew what it was. So what was their point in doing that?
It's like they just wanted a day off and just threw something together real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they wanted to do something special for Halloween, but it was getting kind of juicy with everything else going on, and I feel like they threw away an episode on something that wasn't that important, and it was kind of confusing. I had to, when I first started it, at first, like, when Abby walked in on that episode, I was like, wait, is this another Molly situation where they're all going to be drugged? Like, that, it just felt felt like something really funny was happening. Yeah. And I get it. They were saying Halloween, spooky, everything's kind of, like, twisted. But, yeah, it just didn't really have much of a point. I do want to give, like, kind of a recognition thing to Ray's Dream, because I love when they do the gangster stuff. Anytime.
The black and white.
And like where they really have that throwback to like the 1930s with the cereals, and I loved that.
That was cool, but just the storyline itself.
Yeah. And I knew it was going to be Adam and Sharon and involved somehow, and that Sharon was going to leave him. Or the gangster version of Sharon. Yeah. So, all right. So we kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get it out of the way with because it was kind of a throwaway, and we were talking about how pointless it was.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning of the week because we had, I think the most interesting storyline was everything going on with Dina, Theo, and Kyle Jack.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we kind of start off, we have everything going on with Stuart Brooks. What are your overall thoughts, first of all? Because we had a lot that happened with Stuart and Dina and everything that we found out. What are your overall thoughts on this storyline?
My overall thoughts is that it points out the fact that if the writers want to make a specific storyline for a character, they can do it, you know? And it just goes back to me wondering, I mean, I know I wasn't here last week and I don't know if you brought it up, but the Daniel Goddard firing.
We did, yeah. We talked. Well, I mean, we, as in me, myself, and I.
So when I kept thinking about that, I'm like, whoa, this must be a blow to his ego, because here's Theo, who's kind of been like a BC character, and they're throwing him into the Abbott family, which is like A-level territory. So it just goes to show that if they really want to boost a character, make a storyline for a character, they can figure it out. Other than that, I thought it was interesting.
And just going off of that, when I was doing some research on everything with Daniel Goddard, apparently he hinted back in like February, March that something wasn't going right with him being there on Y&R anymore, because he kind of he like posted something that was very
tell us about
cryptic. It was something along the lines of, for now I'm where I'm supposed to be, but it might not be forever. And I am paraphrasing, so if anyone wants to find the exact tweet, or I think it was on Instagram, but he tweeted something very cryptic, and then he put #YR. And so I think he knew a long time ago that it just wasn't looking good for him. And he even said recently that without Lily, there's just not much of a Kane storyline.
But so to that point, I feel like the writers and the producers could have made it work if they wanted to. I think they were just done with him.
Yeah.
Another thing they could have done, which they do to a lot of the characters, like Lauren and Michael, and like a lot of the characters, we won't hear from them for months, and then they just come back.
Yeah.
They could have hit pause on him.
Absolutely. Especially someone who's been there 13
They
years.
could have moved forward with him and Tracy. They could have just had a new random person move into town, like the Hillary.
Yeah.
The person playing Hillary, and she's the new lawyer in town.
So I have something to say about that in regards to Theo, too, because I feel like everybody is related. So kind of bringing this back to Theo and like the storyline that they're creating right now. Joe, what were your overall thoughts on everything happening with Theo being an Abbott? He's not even an Abbott. He's related to Dina, so he's a Murgeron.
He's a Murgeron,
right.
yeah. I just thought it was kind of crazy, and then Jack knew who his last name was, but didn't know what his father's name was. But it's almost like, when did Jack find out who he was?
This was my problem with it. One, I think it's too convenient that Theo happens to be Kyle's cousin. Way too convenient.
So convenient.
My other problem is the execution. I think that they almost were there. I will say this. My overall thoughts on the storyline, I really enjoyed the mystery of it.
Right.
I enjoyed that Tracy and Jack were writing a book about their family and stumbled across some dirty secret. They didn't know what it was. I love that they brought in Doris, the friend from high school.
That was sweet.
And that Doris was like, I could tell Doris had more to say than what she actually was admitting at first. I loved all of that moment. I love that we kept getting like a little sneak preview into everything, but we didn't always get the answers, which kept me very interested in what was happening. So I think they executed this portion of it very well. The problem I have is that it's Theo. My problem too is how did Jack, I would guess Jack would know the last name of his son's good friend. I could probably believe that. Yeah. But it was just so random that they would bring up his last name all of a sudden that we realized.
He paid for lunch and signed the check, and the camera zoomed in on the check.
Yeah, and that's
where you saw his name.
And that's the problem I have with the storyline, is that I think at that point it was too obvious. Like, they were literally beating us over the head with that information. Like, oh yeah, hey, this is definitely Theo.
Or that could have been something where they showed us, but didn't have it come out yet, and had them stumble upon it later. Like, wait, what's your last name?
I think they could have dragged it out more.
Yeah.
And then it just, didn't have to make it that obvious at first. My other thing is, how do you guys feel about the fact that... How do you feel about Kyle's reaction to this? Not just that, but also the fact that he's worried that Theo's going to take over the Abbott household.
Yeah, you're right. And so I guess... one of our questions earlier about that Halloween episode is, what was the point of it? So we realized one of his fears is that that Theo is going to, like you said, take over the Abbott household. I think the bigger picture of it is he's not only worried that he's going to take over the Abbott household. He's worried he's going to take over the business, the family, the relationships, and everything that he's formed throughout these years. And so not only that, I think he's just like intimidated by him. He didn't have a good relationship with him to begin with. It's like, imagine like one of your worst enemies or somebody that you really don't like, you find out they're your sibling or they're your cousin. It's like, now I have to share, not only do I have to share space with you in Genoa City, which is not a lot, we know that. There's only 3 restaurants.
Everybody's related to everybody, too.
But it's like, now I have to share my family and my personal life and boundaries with you. That's not easy.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. Joe, do you have any additional thoughts about this?
I just think it was forced upon us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
I think it worked up until the point where they started showing us it was Theo. A couple weeks ago, it might have even been last week, where Theo was basically showing us he had these ambitions that we did not yet know about in terms of being part of a major corporation.
Yeah.
And beyond the scope of what we had seen with him before.
Yeah.
And so my issue is that I think that they are setting it up to be this rivalry where Theo's going to try to come in and be part of Jabot, which to me makes no sense. Like in the dream that Kyle had, where it was, Theo came in and he had taken over the house and Jack couldn't do anything about it. This makes no sense to me because Theo would not be an Abbott. Like he'd have no claim to the business. And then the other thing is that not only would he have no claim, but even if he had been an Abbott, legally he's not an Abbott. Like even if somehow he was blood related through the Abbott line, his father was sent up for adoption. So legally there is no tie, even if it was Dina's business.
Side note, don't you think it's ironic that neither Jack nor Ashley are Abbotts either, and the only one that's really an Abbott is Tracy?
Yeah. Well, I thought they said that Jack is an Abbott.
No, Jack is an Abbott.
Yeah, that was the whole reveal, is that Ashley had tampered with the DNA sampling.
Oh my God! Did I miss this huge fact of Young and the Restless?
So
That's nuts. Okay.
Jack is a biological Abbott.
Wow.
But he's no longer the firstborn son.
And the difference is that with Ashley, she was raised an Abbott. So I would assume that even one John Abbott raised her as his child, but then 2, she was legally, he was her guardian. So I could see her having more of a claim than somebody like Theo.
The only claim he would have is to Mergeron, but Mergeron was sold off to Devon's company.
Yeah, so there's nothing.
There's nothing there to.
There's nothing there. Yeah, so I'm just gonna check in with the chat and make sure we're not.
I still think though there is a dirty secret between the 2 of them that hasn't come out, and Aaron says the same thing.
That would be so. Now you know how before we even talk about the chat. Then remember how our prediction was that Theo and Kyle had been lovers.
Oh, that'd be weird.
That's what Aaron,
that would be
Aaron said that.
I mean, this is the problem I have. And then I had to consciously think, remember how Theo was hitting on Abby?
Yeah.
She's related. Ashley is related to Dina.
Yes.
So Abby is related to Dina. So now Theo, who was hitting on Abby, was hitting on his cousin.
Yeah. Step cousin.
Yeah, like half cousin.
Yeah. Half cousin. Yeah, half cousin, not step half.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
How is it possible to be a half cousin? You're either cousin or you're not.
Well, I think because cousin, but I think it's because it's it's
the married blood into the family, not the actual blood of the family.
Well, so the brother related to Jack is only, I guess, a half brother.
Yeah, because they share the same mom, different fathers.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
I don't know if a half cousin is a thing, but I think they even referred to him as a half cousin.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, so Malcolm Adderley, I'm just going to read this comment because it's hilarious. Jay Leno, you're the daddy?
You are the daddy.
And then Susan Russo, Kyle acts like he's so afraid of some truth about him and Theo. Candace Mack, Abby and Theo are cousins. Yeah. Kenneth Clark, sick, grinning face. Aaron Brody, Susan, the secret is Kyle and Theo slept together in New York. See, and that... So are they trying to bring this, really into the storyline now? I don't know.
Kissing cousins. Just saying.
It could be.
It would actually be a really interesting storyline, and I almost wish the writers would listen to us and just do it.
Yeah. I think they should.
Yeah.
I mean, And if anyone is listening who has ever heard of a storyline like that, I wouldn't be surprised because it's kind of hard. There's so many people that are related in Genoa City.
Yeah.
How are you not related at this point?
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we...
And bring back chemo.
Yeah.
They should bring back chemo. Why don't they?
Yeah. They really should.
Jack didn't like the storyline. I think he wanted it... or not Jack. Peter Bergman didn't like the storyline and wanted it... I think he wanted it axed.
Well, until then, maybe eventually we'll get chemo. Farrah, I think before we move to our next topic, it's a good time to make an announcement to the fans.
Sure. We just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in every week and listening to us and making our show what it is. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure to like and also subscribe and comment. And if you're watching us on iTunes, please give us 5 stars. But keep tuning in, and we have special segments towards the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. But other than that,
absolutely.
Thanks again.
Yeah, and thank you guys. We've got so many people who show up for the chat every week. We can't express enough how amazing it is that you guys are here. I will always consider you all our co-hosts, so keep the comments coming. Candace Mack says, you guys are welcome. We love you guys. Candace, we love you too. Thank you for showing up every week. I think that it is an excellent time for us to talk about Adam and everything going on with him.
Yes.
Yeah, and was there a... I saw a grin over there.
What are you reading?
Aaron Brody wrote, "The only thing Theo wants to take over is Kyle's bedroom." LOL.
And the world turns.
That's another soap opera. Is that still running? As the world turns.
Yeah, something like that. I never watched that one. All right. So, Adam, we had a really lovely moment, a really lovely family moment.
Yeah, it was so sweet.
Yeah, and I'm actually pro Chelsea and Adam.
I am so pro Chelsea and Adam, especially if it'll provide a healthy, stable home for their child that's clearly having some issues.
Yeah, and the thing is that I just don't feel Nick and Chelsea. I never really have. And I don't think, like, going back to, it's funny, we're like, these dreams were pointless. But going back to the dreams, where Nick had the dream that Chelsea said, well, I've only loved one man and it wasn't you. I feel like that's true.
I think it's true.
Even though it was his dream.
They're going to end up getting back together.
Yeah. What do you think, Joe?
I have a prediction.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? You've said it, so you should just say it now.
Yes, you should just
We'll have
say
more
it.
Predictions later.
Chelsea's in trouble because she lost all the money, and that guy wants the money.
True.
Who's going to bail her out?
Oh.
Adam.
And we know he's got the money, obviously. Plus, he just gave Phyllis $10 million.
Well, she ripped it up.
Yeah.
Just here's a check, $10 million.
Be hilarious if Adam grabs the ripped up check, tapes it back together, and just gives it to Chelsea.
What Looney Tunes rips up $10 million worth of a check? I would literally take that check, move to Hawaii, buy a nice house,
drop the mic,
and just
bye.
live. I would just live. Like, who rips that up?
Seriously.
I can't.
I can't either.
I
that
would
not
become
be me.
Hidden Hubby Joe.
Hubby Joe from afar. Hubby Joe on vacation. Yeah. So, but everything with Adam, I think what I loved about it was, one, we're seeing a very different side of Adam. He won't even work with Phyllis now.
I know.
He doesn't want to play dirty. He's making amends with people like Billy. I am loving this side of Adam, and I'm loving the way that he is with Connor. It's so, like, I just don't want this to ever end. Like, I want him to
seems genuine.
Yeah,
It
it seems
does.
real genuine.
Yeah, and that's all he needed. When he came back, he wanted Christian. Well, he's got
Yeah.
Connor, and he's got the love. Like, it's like a very, like, reciprocated situation, and it's just, I love that this little boy Connor, one, the actor is brilliant who plays him.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a
The
good little
boy.
actor.
Yeah, I can feel like there's a lot of trauma with him, and that he's just really playing it like so realistically.
Yeah.
And I feel like that Connor is so lucky to have Adam's love, and especially when we got that scene with Adam and Chelsea and Connor.
Yeah.
So what do you
It just seems so normal. Like, it
Yeah.
seemed like a normal, happy family.
Yeah.
Sitting there watching a scary movie, eating popcorn. Like, it was just so homey.
So how did you guys feel about Chelsea in general? Do you think that she loves Nick still, or do you think that she's going to go back with Adam?
I think she's eventually going to end up back with Adam.
Yeah.
Me too, I agree.
But something's going to happen with Nick running for city council. Their pasts are going to come out. She's going to end up leaving Nick, going to Adam.
Plus, she's too wrapped up in her scandals. I think she's not going to trust Nick with it. One, Nick, shut her out anyway. So I think she's going to be like, well, he shut me out in the past. I'm not going to open up about this. Chelsea's going to feel more comfortable going to Adam about it and, having him help her. And then basically, I think that's how this is all going to wrap up. But the whole thing is that she already missed, she fell asleep at Adam's. Already kind of, chose her son, which is the right thing to do, but also kind of chose Adam at the same time.
Yeah.
Stood Nick up for the Halloween party, but then also, when she was so wrapped up in the financial situation, she missed his press conference.
I have a prediction. I know we have to wait until... I have to say it, guys.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of predictions.
I'm sorry. So I was just thinking, because you said, when you run for office, a lot of your personal information, your private life kind of comes to the forefront.
Yeah.
What if she's the reason why he doesn't win office?
Oh.
Because of all of her illegal activity with the financial situation comes out into play.
Ooh, and the thing is, then I could definitely see, I think that, not to kind of continue with the predictions, but I think that it's going to wrap up like that, and I think that part of it is that she's going to do this thing with Adam where they're going to try to cover it up, and then Simon is going to just mess it all up, and it's going to come out when he's actually, maybe when Nick is either running or actually in office, but the whole thing is that I don't even think that Nick really cares about her as much as he thinks he does.
He's just addicted to her.
And I think because she left him and she hurt him, I think it's more that he loves the idea of her and wants her more because she hurt him so badly. And I always want him with Sharon, but obviously we saw Sharon's with Ray right now.
Until Ray gets killed on the line of duty, and then she goes running back to Nick, and then Chelsea goes to Adam.
Why don't they just hire Hubby Joe as the writer? Hubby Joe, you should work for Y&R.
Yeah. Yeah, really. So, that was kind of the biggest thing was just this whole night where Chelsea, Connor, and Adam ended up having the movie together.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of left with that. We talked about Dreamland. We talked about Adam. The only other thing I want to mention before we start getting to our segments, what do you guys make of everything happening with Amanda right now and Nate? And the whole situation with, basically his license is being questioned because of what he did.
I can't believe Nate is, so turning on Victor Newman.
It seems so uncharacteristic.
It's so different than, the relationship that they've had in the past, which is, so friendly and so cordial. He pretty much attacked him verbally. It's like, listen, you're a physician. You know what the laws are. You know what you were doing. You were crossing boundaries. And yeah, it's gonna catch up to you eventually. Why are you so shocked and surprised? You knew what you were doing. Excuse me.
Well, yeah, and if we look and I think part of it is when the other actor played Nate, it goes back, we've seen Nate for a very long time now. And the original guy, just the rapport that he had with Victor was just so strong. It wasn't on the same level as Neil, but it was kind of I felt like it was kind of like an extension and that it was almost like a family bond.
Yeah.
And so now to see, this new actor, not that new anymore, but a newer actor playing Nate and that's going in this direction, it just doesn't feel like Nate anymore.
It doesn't feel like what was meant to be for this character. So it feels out of character.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have any thoughts on that or how Amanda's involved?
Well, you were trying to... I was wondering how they were going to keep her around.
Yeah.
So now she's going to be the new lawyer in town since Michael's the DA.
Yeah.
And he can't do regular cases. But they're probably going to hook those two up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I think we're going to learn more about her now that Victor's involved because he made that call.
Oh, yeah, he's researching about her.
Yeah, and I really think it's going to come out that she's Hillary.
Anyone can find out dirt about somebody. It's Victor Newman.
It's totally Victor.
He has the pull.
We're next week we're going to know all about her.
Yeah. And if you can't figure it out, he could at least make it up.
Sure.
So I think it is time for us to get to our first segment, Caption That. That is a great sound bite.
Caption That.
So we have a picture, as you guys can probably see, coming up in just a second here. We posted this in our Restless Wrap. That's at RESTLESSWRAP Facebook page, and we have a lot of comments. Basically, we asked people to look at this picture and give us maybe a caption of what she's saying or thinking, or just what this makes you think of. If anyone who's listening live wants to add another comment, feel free to do so. I'm going to read the ones that we got on the page. Kelly Lamar says, "Man, I really gotta pee." Candace Mack, "Fake it to make it through the work week." Yeah. Mary Dell, "Oh my God, I have to work for you now, Phyllis. Capital help." Eulene Man, "At first, it took me a while." Oh, that was her. And then Casey Stephen Hutchinson, "When I'm at work and I have to use my customer service voice."
I love that one.
And
That's literally me
we've
Monday
got
through Friday.
2 more. Michelle Pavian, "Oh, Ray, I do love you, but I'm in disguise for the next man." And then, last but not least, Crystal Bryan, "The look of, I'm totally spitting in her coffee. Lol. While trying to keep up with demands of the boss's list of to-dos I'm writing." I think that, for me anyway, Kelly Lamar, "Man, I really gotta pee," wins.
Caption That.
Yeah. Man, I really gotta pee. All right, for our next segment, we're gonna do our law moment, but we actually have a video. So let's pull that video up. It was kind of part of the law moment. I had a couple other things to mention that
Pulling it up right now.
cool.
Maybe we can mention the other things while we wait for him to
Yeah.
pull up the video.
So do you guys want to list your law moments?
So my law moment was during Phyllis's dream segment, where she asked Sharon to make her a wax appointment. My favorite part. And Sharon goes, "Mustache or eyebrows?" And then Phyllis said, "There's only one mustache in this town, and it's not me." And then Sharon goes, "Eyebrows."
That was awesome. Yeah, it was definitely a funny one. I wrote, it was the same scene. I had a couple, but I'm just going to list this one. This is the same scene. "How do I remove half the bubbles, Sharon?" "I'm not a scientist, duh, Phyllis." And then I literally wrote some twisted version of Devil Wears Prada. We have our video.
Hi, this is Christian LeBlanc.
So this was posted
And
on
Cameron
the
Grimes.
YNR Twitter
It's all
page
gonna hell
right
so
before
quickly.
Halloween.
We're here to show you how to make a new Halloween favorite, a candy cootery board.
Cootery.
This is my
It's
very
French.
first candy cootery board that I'm ever making.
I'm making candy cootery.
I couldn't be more excited right now.
This is kind of my jam, and Christian has said that he's going to try not to mess up my board
must be
because
good
I
he's
heard
eating
that there was a
It's not Christmas. It's not Thanksgiving. It's Halloween. Because how much fun to be something you're not, to just dress up and be a lunatic, and it's totally okay, right?
I'm super excited because my daughter
Says the person playing Phyllis.
she's making me be a scary witch, and I don't know what that says about me, but I'm like disappointed that you're just eating my products. You're eating my art.
These are always fun. Take one home for myself. 2, and 1 for you. 3.
No, I hate that. I hate everything I'm doing right now. My favorite type of candy is gum. So we're gonna have a lot of these like gum eyeballs on here. You can't have the eyeballs on the side because
Okay.
they'll roll off.
I know.
I'm gonna put these on because they're very Halloween, but not my favorite.
What are
Yeah.
Wait!
She likes you to-
This
she
is
likes
my
you to feel
charcuterie board, and now there are 2 people here.
Candy corn. I happen to love it.
So that's the question.
I don't know if
Candy
I'm
corn.
done. I
Hate it or love it?
Ooh,
keep
good
going.
question.
I'm just very happy about Halloween. This is my little board here. This is how we're gonna do this. All done. This is mine and Christian's candy cootery board.
Candy cootery.
And anything you see that's disheveled, happy accident.
And from all of us to you,
Happy Halloween.
Happy spooky season.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Boo.
happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
So I definitely thought, in the spirit of Halloween, that we would share that video, and it was definitely one of my lol moments this week as I was stumbling upon the Twitterverse, as I like to call it. Our final segment before we get to predictions, we are going to talk about a little bit of news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So this is nothing like, okay, let me delete what I just said. Yes, let me just say that this is a very momentous occasion. It is Peter Bergman's 30th anniversary with Y&R. So I thought in honor of that, I found a couple of pictures that were actually on a Soap She Knows, on one of their articles they did on Peter Bergman. And so there's a picture of Jack, obviously, and then we have one with him and Victor from years ago.
Aww.
Yeah.
What a milestone.
Yeah, 30 years. Absolutely crazy. I think the next one is with him and that's
Is that Phyllis?
him and Phyllis. Yes, that is definitely Phyllis.
Oh, I love them together.
Yeah, and the last one is with him and Katherine.
Oh, Katherine.
I thought we definitely had to show
we
that
needed
one.
that.
So, it is just, crazy. 30 years. I thought that was definitely worth mentioning on the show this week.
Definitely.
Let's get to our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Joe, would you like to have the honors of going first since you were a guest
I
this
think
week?
I already gave my predictions.
Okay, well, do you have do you have anything? Okay, let me ask you a specific question then. What do you think is going to happen with everything going on with Theo?
There's going to be a lot of tension between him and Kyle, and somehow it's going to bring him closer to Lola, which is going to put
A strain on
between Kyle and Lola.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I
Farrah?
was actually going to say that too. There's definitely going to be, there's already kind of been a strain between Kyle and Lola because she kind of didn't understand why he's so upset about it, and he tried to explain it to her, but she was being kind of dismissive about it. I think she's going to take Theo's side, and he's just going to continue to get irritated by that. So definitely tension between them. There's going to be something that happens between Nick and Chelsea. I don't think it's a coincidence that Chelsea is being targeted right around the same time that Nick is running for office. I think those stories are going to be correlated somehow, and it's going to yield to the demise of their relationship. And I think, like you said, it's going to push her to Adam. What else?
There's just so much.
So much. This isn't really a prediction, but I'm excited to see what happens between the lawyer. What's her name? I forget her
Amanda.
name. Amanda and
Nate. Awesome. So I just want to give a shout out to Candace Mack again. Favorite Peter Bergman moment was Jack throwing the chair out and said, "Have a seat on me," toward Victor.
Oh.
And then Kenneth says, "Love Peter ever since his Cliff days on All My Children."
Oh, wow.
And Aaron says, "Aw, Katherine." And one more comment from Kenneth. At AfterBuzz, thank you for making me honorary co-host Rachel, Farrah, and hubby Joe.
Kenneth!
You guys
Kenneth
Clark!
Kenneth Clark!
Yes.
Clark.
So my predictions. I think that we are going to see Summer and Kyle hook up. I am feeling like Lola and Kyle are. Kyle mentioned specifically this week that he was like, well, there's a difference between dating somebody and being married to them. When you're married to them, you have to you can't just leave when you get mad.
You gotta do it. You gotta stick through it.
And I feel like he would not have had that problem with Summer. Even.
Yeah.
But no, I just think that he's getting, I don't want to say bored, but I just feel like they're losing that spark that they had, and that's kind of fading.
Totally.
And that she's going to end up with Summer, and I think Lola's going to end up with Theo. I also think Theo's going to have a bit of an arc after finding all of this out, and that he might change for the better. And then I think that I'm going to say it again. I think Amanda is Hillary. Like until they tell me it is not going to happen, that they are definitely, for a fact, two different people. I am going with the fact that I think Amanda and Hillary are one person.
All right.
I think that we didn't really see much with Devon this week. So I'm just going to bring him up anyway. I think that Devon eventually will get with Amanda and that they're going to keep her around for a while, but I think first Amanda's going to get with Nate. And then Victor, I think this is all going to come to a head when Victor does the research on Amanda, because he's going to discover who she really is. Hillary! Okay, well, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Rachel Goodman. We've got Hubby Farrah. We've got Farrah.
Farrah not speaking right. Okay, now we can talk about the most important cast.
Hubby Joe. Where can everyone find you?
Anywhere you find Rachel.
Cool. And you can find me on Twitter at Rach Goodman, or on my author page on either Instagram at Rachel Radner Author, or on Twitter at Rachel Radner, or on Facebook at Rachel Radner, if you couldn't have guessed that.
She's easily findable.
Also, if you really enjoy talking about YNR, you can always go to our at Restless Rap page on Facebook. We are going to be doing the Caption That every week, so I will post a picture on Sunday, and we will read your comments live. Until next Sunday, have a wonderful week, everybody.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners.